Well, hello, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here, and welcome out to the deck. It's a Saturday. It's the end of my holiday. It's Easter weekend, so found a bit of time to shoot a little bit of scotch with you guys. I think I'm going to start a mini series on very affordable peated or smoky Scotch drams. So the series probably won't turn anyone's heads. It's not going to highlight really great bottles. But it's the bottles that all of us have seen and probably can afford. So I'm going to start it off with this one. This is famous Grouse, Smoky Black. I think it used to be called Black Grouse. When I come back, we'll give it some thoughts. We'll nose it. We'll taste it. If you have any kind of peated blended Scotch or anything like that, maybe pour it, sip along.
3, 4.
Thanks for joining me. As I said, it's a nice holiday weekend. It was a little dreary, but the sun's coming out, which is interesting. And it was a little cold, which is also why I thought, I've got a few bottles of some pretty affordable peated Scotch. Maybe with this cooler early spring, I should shoot that. Now it's turned nice. But on to this bottle. This is famous Grouse, Smoky Black. For any connoisseurs or hardcore whiskey tubers, it's not going to check any of our boxes, right? It's 40%, it's chill filtered, it's likely colored, it has no age stamp, it's blend, so it's got grain and malt in it. It's really hard in terms of like checking any of the connoisseur, or not connoisseur, but fans, Scotch fans kind of thing. Still, you know what? It's really affordable. Where I'm at, it sits on the shelf about $35. Sometimes it goes on sale for less. But, $35, easy to pick up, and it's got some interesting heritage. I think the Edrington Group is responsible for it. So that's, it's got Macallan in there, Glenrothes, I think, is in there, Highland Park. They've got a whole bunch of distilleries in their stable. This could have any of that in there. But one thing that's neat is right in the back, it says that the peat comes from a rare version of Glenturret. So I think we know that the peated portion of this, probably peated malt, is coming from Glenturret, which I really haven't had. So I can't speak to the house style like independently. I haven't had a single malt from Glenturret. But this is, designed to obviously add some smoke to what is usually a pretty approachable blend. As I said, I don't know anything about it. No age stamp. I don't know what's in this mix. But we'll see what the whiskey itself tells us. On the nose. For me, actually, the first thing I get is sweetness. It's got a light pear sweetness, a light maraschino cherry sweetness. Definitely sweet fruit is really the first thing I get. Then we tumble into some smoke. And this is light smoke. When I'm inside, actually, I get it a little bit stronger than being out here where there's more fresh air. Out here, it's very light smoke. And a light sourness that maybe hints at a peat. Like maybe... Yeah, so mostly fruity, very light smoke, little bit of sour, slight medicinal on the nose. See what the palate gives us. Sláinte. The palate also has a very sweet, I feel like that's kind of a grain nature, a very sweet kind of grain note coming up very quick. Even off the fruits, more like a sweet cereal. But then, again, there is a little bit of a peat balance here, a slight astringency, a little bit of now that I'm talking and I'm letting it evaporate in my mouth, I do get a little char, a Little smolder campfire, just wisps of it. Better take another sip. Yeah, same thing again. A little bit of dryness now on the when I've swallowed. It's the early finish. Some bitterness, some slight medicinal notes. So you got a little bit of iodine that you kind of get from peat, but it's just light. Really, this is a sweet blended scotch, right? Probably mostly grain, and then a little bit of that peated malt in there. Really tastes ex-bourbon. It might have some ex-sherry, but the sweetness moved away from fruits on the nose and into a sweet cereal, which really I'm probably getting more from a grain whiskey. Easy to drink. It is a little bitter in the long finish. Like now, the more I talk, the more sort of a bitter, sour note kind of creeps up. But it's not present in the palate. It's the kind of scotch that I think pours and drinks easily, if I may. Like while you're sipping it, it's like, oh, this is just easy to drink. This isn't going to turn anyone's head. It's not going to win anyone over to smoke or peat, and it's very, very gentle. If you were introducing someone to smoke, it might not be a bad idea. It's super affordable, and it's really not a bad blended scotch, and certainly, like I said, price. So, I'm going to rate it a solid 3 stars, which is a pretty low rating. But it really, it's just, it doesn't really hold any more interest. No, it might be 3 1/4. Like it's possibly worth buying if you're looking for a very gentle, very lightly smoked blend. It fits that bill, and it's not bad. I thought I'd compare it to a little bit of leftover Johnny Walker Black. I don't have a bottle of it, but a little while ago I shot a blind, and aside from Johnny Walker Green, I ended up liking Johnny Walker Black a fair amount. So, it's another blend. Now, Johnny Walker Black has at least an age stamp of 12 years, but really nothing else on that checklist, right? It's still got all of the challenges. Aside from an age stamp, we don't know percentage of malt. We don't know all sorts of things about it. But let's see what I get it just in the comparison. Same conditions, being outside, lots of air. A little more mineral quality. Interesting. Yeah, this is still sweeter on the nose. I saw another YouTuber say just the opposite, but I get a little more smoke on the nose. And like a deeper. How would that be described? Like I think of it as a richer note, so it's a little richer. Let's try it on the palate. I'm drawn to that a little more. For me, it's a little less sweet, for sure. Now, whether that's less grain, I don't know, but it's still fairly sweet, but what comes up more for me is a little more malt characteristic, a little more light peat, and then the sweetness feels less, almost like confectionery sugar, sweet pear syrup, and a little bit more like a thicker honey or something like that. So I guess I do still like this one in comparison more. In my neighborhood, it sits about 45. This is 35, so you pay a little more for it. But either it's got more malt or, I don't know, a little more, well, it does have a little more age in it because they say 12 years. In this sitting, it's not wowing me like in that blind. Like it's still probably 3.5 stars. It's not a huge, like maybe 3 3/4. I don't know. I'll have to get a bottle if I'm going to continue to shoot these. I've got a bunch of opened, very affordable peated. I don't know, about 5 of them or so that I thought I'd share. And I'll just probably compare them to each other. But I'm surprised how much right now the Walker isn't really letting me up, because I liked it the other day. Anyways, that's just some thoughts. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. Maybe found a little bit of time to be with family or just to be out in the yard, maybe doing some yard work. It is springtime. Hope you're having a great Easter and have a great week.